It's Powerback time on the Gutsy Podcast, your 20-minute boost to reclaim and refocus your energy. Get ready to have bursts of clarity, a boost of confidence, and the practical steps you need to make gutsy moves forward. You've got big things to do, so let's get your power back. The other day, a friend asked me, Laura, what is one thing that you have to do every day to keep a healthy mindset? And it got me thinking. We all have lots of tools that we have access to, but in the heightened moments, it's really easy to forget what they are and how helpful they can be. Today, I'm going to share with you the number one thing that I do that helps to keep me sane. Plus, I'm going to walk you through a little exercise so that you can identify your one thing. What is your go-to tool that you can use when your brain gets noisy, you get overstimulated, you're an empath, so you're picking up everybody's feelings and emotions and energies, and your ADHD is getting the best of you. So let's find a solution together, okay? I'm going to share with you the number one thing that I do to not only stay sane, but to get grounded, to refocus, to re-energize, to get back in my body and feel like I've got my shit together again. Before we dig in, I'm kind of curious, do you feel that shift happening? Do you feel like next year is going to be a defining year for you? Maybe you've been back and forth, maybe you've been preparing, but there's something in you that's finally feeling ready to decide. You're ready to do the big thing. And that might be leaving a job or going for a promotion, expanding your business, starting your business, taking your health seriously, or improving or shifting a relationship. And let's be honest, this is not new. You have been thinking about this, working with it, gnawing at it for quite a while now. You also know that before you get into this shift, you need a clear picture of who you're becoming, where to focus your time and your energy, how to make those next steps. That change that you're wanting, that expansion that you're being drawn to, it's getting louder and more in your face because you're ready. And the way that we start to get that is by reconstructing the old beliefs and experiences that have stopped you up until this point. Because we can't build this next chapter on the old you that keeps defaulting to the same patterns. We can't achieve the next level of growth from the exhausted version of you who's just trying to get through the day. And that part of you that's been saying, someday I'll get to it, yeah, that's not going to work anymore. But you know what does work? Exploring the identity of who you truly are, what you're stepping into, creating new habits and beliefs that match your possibility, that help you to take those next steps, and having a plan so you know what to do next, a place to bounce ideas around, to get feedback, to say, hey, what do you think of this? And help me choose where to focus. I want to do the work. I just don't know where to go. If you are aggressively nodding along, or you've got hair standing up on body parts that you didn't know that you had hair on, I'm telling you, it's time for us to do some work together, my friend. I help women like you make the bold moves that you can't stop thinking about. That space where you get so far and then you talk yourself out of it, or things get loud or noisy or confusing and you go back to what you know. That's the hump that we get over together. Instead of thinking about the thing, you have it instead. If you're feeling a pull to come back to yourself, to build your confidence, to get clarity, to start using your voice again, then the Gutsy Collective is your next step. This is a place where you say, I want to feel like myself again. This is where we're going to start to do that. And if you've already done some of the inner work and you are ready to make your next move, you're ready to build your next chapter instead of thinking about it, then Auraline is your space. This draw that you've been feeling, it's your gutsiest next chapter calling you. And my friend, it begins now. If you want to figure out what the best next step for you is, let's hop on a call, a free clarity session. You and me, 30 minutes. We'll figure out what your next gutsy move is. You can go to lauraora.com/clarity to book your session. All right, my friend, let's get into this. This truly is so simple, but so freaking effective in helping me to stay sane and to stay grounded and being able to do all the things that I do. First, little tiny asterisk. If my voice is sounding a little deeper, a little extra sultry to you today, it's because I'm on the other side of a cold. I got knocked down pretty hard. Thankfully, I have like a fluid voice. It's just a little extra raspy, a little more than normal. And you know something? I'm not mad about it. It's actually not that bad. It reminds me of that episode of Friends when Phoebe got sick and she was like, she was singing, she was singing the song with the deep voice, and then she got better, and then she tried to get sick again so that she had the sultry voice again. I watch a lot of Friends with AJ. So here's the deal. Okay, I have raging ADHD. Okay, I am not medically diagnosed. I am self-diagnosed, but the writing is on the fucking wall. Okay, I don't need a piece of paper to confirm what is very clearly obvious to me. So I call it my bouncy brain. You may have heard or listened to that Powerback episode a couple of weeks ago. My brain kind of goes all over the place. So that's always a piece that's working here. Okay, I'm also an incredibly deep empath, meaning I pick up everyone else's shit all the time. Good stuff, bad stuff, things in between. My empathy is such a beautiful thing. And also, it drives me nuts if I don't work with it, okay? Which is what we're going to get to. Sometimes my brain gets noisy. I get overstimulated. I have too much on my plate, right? Like that point where you're just like, okay, I'm right on the edge of this is too fucking much. The goal is always to prevent from getting that far up. And this thing that I do helps me to get from there. But I also know that when I'm at that point, this is the thing that I have to do. Okay. This is how I get rid of some of the stuff. This is how I get rid of the feelings that I pick up from people, the energies that I'm feeling. I'm also incredibly intuitive. So ideas and information is coming to me at lightning speed all hours of the day, and sometimes even into the night. That's my personal favorite. I'm sure you can relate to some of this. Like, there's just a lot happening on the inside of this melon that I carry around. So when my friend asked me, Laura, what is one thing that you have to do every day to keep a healthy mindset? I sat with it and I was like, what do I do? Like, that's a really good question. And after sitting and thinking about it for a second, the phrase came up, dump the junk. And that's what I emailed her back. I was like, I dump the junk. On a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a regular basis, I have to be very intentional about dumping the junk. Think about it, a couple of different metaphors here. Think about a sponge, okay? A sponge can literally only hold so much liquid before it just starts to expel everywhere. You have to wring out the sponge so it can absorb more liquid. You have to manually do something with it. You have to physically move the sponge so that it gets rid of what it picked up already, so that it has fresh, absorbent, squishy things, so that it can absorb more water, or so that it can simply dry out. I mean, it's not always about having space to absorb more, but sometimes to just be able to enjoy the fact that it exists. This is my metaphor for dumping the junk, and how I primarily do this. The goal here is to get rid of the things that I have picked up. Right? Like when my brain is noisy, not just with my own things, but with other people's things and energetic things and the shit that's going on in the country and around the world things and social, I have to get rid of it, because if I don't intentionally dispose of the things that I have picked up, I get sick. I get wore down. I get anxious. My depression kicks in. My ADHD gets way worse. And side note, no, the sickness is not a result of holding on for too much shit for too long. I was just around somebody that got sick, and ta-da, here we are. So the thing that I've learned the hard way, which I think that we all have, is that, hey, I have to take care of myself first. Truly. I know that's revolutionary. I know that you've never heard that before in your entire existence. I mean, if you could see the side eye that I'm giving myself right now, we all hear this. But the truth is, you have to take care of yourself. You have to find something that works for you. And today I'm going to share what works for me, not for you to replicate it unless that feels interesting, but to say, okay, I see where she's going with that. What is my version of this? For me, this is dumping the junk. And two ways that have just always proven well is to ground my body and to move my body. Grounding for me is a very simple exercise of getting outside. Sometimes it's putting my bare feet on the ground. Sometimes it's just literally sitting in the sunshine for 5 or 10 minutes. Sometimes it's just standing on my back patio and closing my eyes and taking a few deep breaths. There's something incredibly healing for me about being outside, even just for a few minutes. And that's the other thing that I want to just slide across the table for you, is that these tools don't have to be elaborate. They don't have to be complicated. They don't even have to be something that you have to take off a half day or a weekend to do. In fact, they should be so easy for you to do because we want to be able to incorporate them. Again, the goal is to get away from bumping up against that line where you're about to lose your shit. It happens. Okay, we're humans. But if we can maintain, if we can release some of this shit that you pick up from yourself, from other people, from work, from technology, we've got to dump this stuff out. We have to let it go so that you have capacity again. And the simple act of standing outside, like 10 out of 10, if I can get my feet on the ground, it literally recharges my body. It lets junk that I have picked up that I didn't even know that I picked up leave. It helps to rejuvenate. I kind of see it like running a faucet through a dirty sponge. So all the dirt is kind of coming out and now we've got this fresh, clean water running through. The ground, the earth literally has electrical currency, okay? It has movement in it. And when you're physically touching the earth with skin, it can help to neutralize some of these fucking energetic charges that you've been carrying around. The earth has a negative electrical charge, not negative in a bad sense, but a negative in a neutral sense. And when you're standing on it or touching it, it helps to neutralize your body. Like literally it calms down your inflammation and your anxiety and your stress. It's just incredible. Truly, there are books on it. There's science behind it. There are documentaries on it. Dig into it if you're curious. And if you just want to see if it works for you, go try it a couple of times. The other way that I love to physically dump the junk, right? So we're talking about the physical body here, is working out. I know I fought working out for a very long time until I realized I can't function without it. I'm at the age in my life where I have to maintain my body more. I have to maintain my strength more. I'll be 41 in a couple of weeks. So, we can't just be sitting around anymore. For me, this looks like going to the gym. I need to be in an atmosphere that has like energy in it, where other people are doing their thing. There's a competitiveness of self there. There's loud music. I like the smell of the gym because it smells like fresh rubber. I don't know. It's a newer gym, so it just smells like ambition. That walk on the treadmill, that lifting weight session, I sit in the infrared sauna at the end. That's another way, an incredible way to dump the junk physically, like literally sweating it out. Both of these physical activities helps my brain. Yes, it's about feeling good in my body and physically looking good as well, like to the way that I would like to look. But ultimately, it's about the way that I feel. I'm not measuring. I'm not watching the scale much. I do a little bit. I'm just like, okay, how do I help myself? And that's what all of this boils down to. That's what the premise of this entire episode is that I want you to walk away with is, how do I help myself? And then you have to make time to do it. You have to make time to do it because going to the gym is not going to just magically happen. Taking a walk on your lunch break, not going to magically happen. Feeling good because you sat outside for a few minutes or took a walk around the block, it's not going to come and get you. You have to go get it. And if you're also resonating with ADHD or empathy or intuitiveness or just overstimulation or just a lot of brain shit going on a regular basis, friend, you have to prioritize dumping the junk. You have to find your own version of this. And if there are physical limitations that does not allow you to work out or to get up and move very often, what is your version of that? What is something that is doable for you that meets you at the place where you are? That's why I'm saying I'm not telling you to replicate what I'm doing. I've worked for a very long time to find what works. And I also need you to know that these things might evolve. Like a couple of years ago, walking around my neighborhood did it for me. And then all of a sudden it was boring and I fucking hated it. So I was like, oh, I'm ready to go up. Like I'm needing something more. My body is stronger now. Let's start going to the gym. The goal with whatever this activity is for you that makes sense for you and your abilities in your life is to release the stored stuff, to wring out the sponge. Yours might be reading, it might be organizing, it might be walking, it might be singing, it might be dancing. It could be a combination of all of those things. But if you know at least one reliable, one that usually works when you make the time to do it, that's the thing that I want you to start to build into your life, to create space for. My schedule can get very wonky very quickly. I've had to learn the hard way that if I don't protect my time, if I don't set up my own boundaries, I can and will fill it up, right? Like the day will just get away from me. I won't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time to make dinner. Everything's chaotic, right? Sound familiar? I know when I like to go to the gym. And so I hold space in my calendar for that. I make the time for it because if I don't dump this junk, I get more chaotic. I'm not as creative. It's harder for me to do my work because I'm not in flow. Stuff takes me 10 times longer. My emotions get right up to the edge. Sometimes I have a fucking meltdown, right? Like I'm no longer willing to allow myself to get to that point. And that's because I chose to prioritize. That's the name of the game here, friend, is choosing to prioritize that. You know what? I know what I need and I'm going to protect that fucking need like my life depends on it. It's not about being perfect. It's not about always having your shit together, but it's about saying, you know what? I've got something that I can latch on to. There's a couple other ways that I like to dump the junk. I'm going to do a little rapid fire here. One is environmentally, okay? My space, my surroundings. One is a digital detox. I know that sounds like, okay, yeah, I know everybody does that, but seriously, unsubscribing from emails that drive me up the wall because I get 3 or 5 or 10 of them a day. No, thank you. Okay. That's dumping the junk. Deleting apps that I don't use anymore. It's just taking up space. It's more complicated to find the things that I need. No, we're dumping the junk. We're getting rid of that. Oh, my absolute favorite, turning off push notifications for anything that's not essential. In other words, I don't get dings and bings when I get an Instagram comment or a TikTok repost or when somebody sends me an email. I only see those things when I actively go into the apps to see what notifications are there. And the best part is those little activities you can do sitting on your couch. You can do with your feet kicked back with a cup of coffee. I love a good probably every couple of months, a few times a year. I just start going through shit. I'm like, what is causing clutter? What is making me feel more anxious? What's making my life more difficult? These are all questions that you can ask yourself. How do I simplify that? How do I remove it? How do I dump this junk so I have capacity again? In my physical space, my environment, my home, getting rid of the shit that you don't use anymore. Oh my goodness. You know that bag of clothes that's been in your trunk for 3 months that you've been meaning to take to the donation center? This is your call forward to drive your ass there and donate the stuff and dump it. Give it to somebody else that needs it. They can't find it if you're driving around with it like it's a fucking best friend in the 90s. Just that simple act. You've got a tab running in your brain right now. I guarantee you, you may not realize it. Maybe you do, but there's a tab running of all this like piddly odds and ends things that you've been hanging around. You didn't finish. You started this, you've got the bag there and all this. Dump it. Finish it. Give yourself space. Like set a timer, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, half a day, whatever works for you, and dump these things. Finish the tasks, donate the bags, clean up the area. I'm a big fan of making sure that my 2 areas in my home are always clean, and that is my desk and that is my bed. Because if where I need to do my work is shitty, that I can't function. And where I need to go rest and rejuvenate, if that's messy, also chaotic. That does something to my brain. So I have to eliminate the junk. I have to get that stuff in order so that I feel calm again. So what's an area in your life, in your home, where you're like, I just need my own little oasis. I need my own space that is clear of stuff, or it has things organized in a way that I know that I'm going to get to it. Like, give yourself that opportunity. And if you live with people, communicate it. This is my no touch zone. This is where I need to do my work. This is where I focus. This is where I feel grounded. Don't put anything here. Don't come over to it. Don't even look at it. Again, this comes back to owning this, deciding, hey, I am worth having this space. Choosing that I don't have to live or work in chaos. That even if it's just a corner of the kitchen or a corner of a room, that you know you have a space that is sacred for you because you have chosen you. You've recognized one, hey, this causes me anxiety. There's too much going on here. And two, I deserve a space that I feel good in, that I can operate well in, that I can feel grounded and secure and like I can think clearly here. It starts with acknowledging that, hey, this is not working. Something is causing me distress here. Deciding I'm going to do something about it, and then making time for something that works for you. Okay. The other thing, you might relate to this too. Cleaning out the fridge every week. Listen, that's literally dumping junk, old shit that we didn't eat, stuff that piled up. Like, what is in that container? Why is that green? I know personally in my house, dinner can get a little, because if we don't plan, if we don't have the ingredients, like that, for whatever reason, is a thing that just, I can go from 0 to 100 very quickly. And if my fridge is in chaos and we don't have a plan, oh my gosh, it's not good. So cleaning out the fridge once a week, making sure that we don't have old expired shit in there. I don't have all these busted ass containers that are leaking stuff out. You know what I mean? Like just noticing what is causing you stress. What do I need? Deciding, okay, I'm going to protect myself by doing something that helps. We just get into this routine and we get caught in what everyone else is doing and the expectations, and the kids need this and the spouse needs this and the work needs this. And what do you get? You get what's left. Friend, getting what you want in life and getting ahead, having your gutsiest year next, that habit is not going to help. This is where we start breaking some of those habits. That's what I was talking about in the beginning of this episode. If you want to live this change that you are hungry for, that you are ready for, we got to start making some foundational habit shifts now. And this is one of those habits. And it's so simple, yet also feels so complex. And it's going to feel a little odd in the beginning, but it's because it's new. I wasn't used to going to the gym. So getting in my car and driving there is like, it's like one more thing. But then I did it a few times and realized how much better I felt, how much more clear in my mind I felt. I felt much more grounded. I felt strong. I felt powerful. And I also felt proud that I was doing it, proud that I was showing up for myself. And then I started to develop biceps. Excuse me. Now I'm starting to see physical changes. You know what I mean? Like we have to get past that like kind of void point where it feels like, I don't even know if this is fucking working or what does this matter? You have to do it long enough to see the result. And so standing on the grass one time is not going to fix your world, but doing it on a regular basis, all of a sudden you're going to be like, wow, I feel more in control, or I've been able to take like big, deep breaths and I don't feel like I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders anymore. This foundational shift is where you realize, you know what? I have to put myself at the front of the line if I want to do the things that I am called to do. If I want to feel better physically, I've got to move. If I want to feel better mentally, I've got to dump some stuff out. It's this rapid realization that like, gosh, if I don't do this, nothing's going to change. And I'm no longer willing to settle. I'm ready for more in my life, which means I need to start showing up for myself in that way. What is that way for you? For me, it's dumping the junk. And you see that sometimes it's cleaning out the refrigerator and sometimes it's standing on the ground, but the consistent ones, the ones that just always prove well for me is movement, moving my body, getting to the gym, walking outside if I can't get there, right? Like getting up from my desk and moving myself. What is that version for you? What is the simple go-to activity or thing that you can do for yourself that you can start to say, you know what, this is a non-negotiable. Without this, everything else feels a flame. But with this, I'm grounded. I feel in control. I feel powerful. I feel good in my body. And if you're not yet sure what that thing is, experiment. We put so much pressure on getting it right, or, okay, I'm going to start going to the gym. So now I'm going to buy all this equipment, or I'm going to get all these fancy clothes and all that. Listen, I'm wearing like $17 leggings that I bought 6 years ago from Amazon, and I'm about to go to the gym. You don't need fancy shit to do your shit. Okay. That's just another excuse to talk you out of it. What you need, and here's the takeaway here. First, acknowledging, hey, I need something. Okay. My body needs something. My mind needs something. Something's not working right now. Identifying what that thing is. And if you're not sure, experiment with it. That's what I was saying a minute ago. Like, we put so much pressure on trying to get it right and trying to do it this certain way. And, oh, I have to have the exact right thing. And this person's doing that. Just fucking experiment and let it evolve as it wants to evolve. You'll know. You'll be the only one that's able to know when it's time to do something new or try something new. And lastly, making time for it. Friend, I am not telling you anything revolutionary here. I did not rewrite some extravagant scientific novel here. I'm reminding you what you already know. This is your sign right here, right now, to identify something, one simple thing this week or in the coming days that you can prioritize for you, not for anybody else, not for a checklist, not for a badge, not for recognition, just simply because you need it. When you do this thing for you, guess what? You're going to feel a little bit more sane too. And you'll be able to offload some of the energy that you've picked up, or the intuitive messages that keep coming in at 100 miles an hour, or the ADHD brain that just wants to pop all over the place. Having something to ground into is a fucking game changer. How are you going to dump the junk? I'd be curious to know. Maybe you can message me and let me know. Last thing I'll say here is sometimes I know when I need to do this thing, even when it's not planned. When things get loud, or I'm feeling chaotic, or I'm just not feeling like myself, those are your bodily cues to pay attention. Your body is a compass. It is forever guiding you. Your only job is to listen. And so when you start feeling that pressure, when you start feeling the tightness, when your shoulders go all the way up into your earlobes, start to notice your physical cues. Let this be your body's way of saying, hey, I need that thing right now. I need that healthy outlet. I need to dump the junk. And listen. Listen to yourself. This thing can take seconds, sometimes minutes of sitting outside, minutes of taking a walk, minutes of going and just having a really good cry or yelling into something can change the trajectory of your entire day and sometimes the days following. This is your Powerback moment, my friend. If you're tired of carrying a bunch of shit, it's time to start setting it down. I'd love to hear how you are experimenting with dumping your junk right now. So come find me and send me a DM. I am at that Laura Ora across all the platforms. And as always, until I see you next time, stay gutsy.